Welcome to the podcast of Philip, where we like to take these deep dives into different topics. And today we're going to be looking at the future of data storage,
Okay.
specifically molecular storage.
Sounds good.
We've got two really interesting things that we're going to look at today.
All right.
One is this molecular hard drive that was developed by some researchers over in China. And then the other one is using DNA for data storage.
Oh, wow.
So these are both pretty cutting edge and kind of mind-blowing in terms of how they could revolutionize the ways we think about storing and accessing information.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some of the things that we're going to be talking about today are storage density, obviously, is a huge one.
Yeah,
Energy efficiency is a big concern these days.
for sure.
And then, of course, the potential for data security with these new technologies.
Very interesting.
And then another thing I wanted to mention is that we could really use your help over on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers today.
Oh, wow.
Every new subscriber really helps us bring these deep dives to a wider audience.
Yeah.
For sure. So if you're enjoying the show, please consider subscribing.
Awesome.
So let's dive in.
Okay.
I think it's important to start by acknowledging that the limitations of our current storage technologies, hard drives, SSDs,
Really?
those become increasingly apparent.
Yeah, for sure.
And these new molecular storage methods
Yeah.
really offer some potential solutions to those limitations.
Yeah.
Whether it's speed,
Right.
density, lifespan,
All of
those
those are
things.
huge factors.
So let's start with this molecular hard drive
Okay.
that was developed by researchers in China.
Yeah.
What makes this so different from the hard drives that we use today?
Well, so instead of using magnets to store data like we do in traditional hard drives, this new invention uses molecules,
Okay.
specifically a type called RuXLPH.
RuXLPH.
Yeah, okay.
Which contain a ruthenium atom.
Interesting.
And by applying a voltage, they can change the electrical conductance of these molecules.
Okay.
And that change encodes data.
Oh, and what's really remarkable is that each molecule can hold 6 bits of information,
Wow.
which is a significant leap in storage density.
That's incredible. 6 bits per molecule.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very dense.
So, obviously one of the big things we're always concerned about is energy consumption.
Right.
We've got these massive data centers that are just sucking up energy
Yeah, for sure.
to keep all those servers running.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this technology
Yeah.
compare in terms of energy consumption?
Well, that's another area where this technology really shines because the energy consumption of this molecular hard drive is billions of times lower
Billions.
than traditional hard drives.
Wow.
So it offers a potential solution to, the energy demands of our increasingly digital world.
So we're talking about faster,
Yeah.
more efficient,
Right.
more compact data storage.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does sound pretty amazing.
So are there any drawbacks? Are there challenges to this technology?
Yeah. Of course, like any emerging technology, there are hurdles to overcome. And one challenge is the sensitivity of these molecules to humidity.
Oh, okay.
They also found that the lifespan of the component that's responsible for reading and writing the data is limited.
I see.
So for now, it remains a lab prototype,
Okay.
but the potential is definitely there.
Yeah, it's definitely intriguing.
Oh, sure.
All right, well, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about DNA storage.
All right.
Now, this one really captures the imagination
It does.
because we're talking about using the building blocks of life to store our digital information.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So can you explain how that actually works?
So essentially, data is encoded using the 4 bases of DNA:
Okay.
adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine.
Okay, so A, T, C, and G.
Exactly.
Right.
And the sequence of these bases determines the information that's stored.
Okay.
And the density of DNA storage is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
A single gram of DNA can hold 215 petabytes of data.
I can't even fathom what that...
Yeah, it's a lot.
215 petabytes.
Yeah, to put it into perspective, that's the equivalent of over 20,000 standard hard drives,
Oh my gosh.
packed into something smaller than a grain of rice.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And then you got the durability of DNA.
Right.
We know DNA can survive for incredibly long periods.
Yeah.
So could this be the key to truly long-term data preservation?
Absolutely. DNA is incredibly robust, and it can preserve information for thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of years,
Wow.
far exceeding the lifespan of any current storage media.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Think about historical records.
Mm-hmm.
government records,
Yeah.
scientific data,
Absolutely.
cultural artifacts. These are things that we want to preserve for
Yeah.
generations to come, and DNA offers a way to do that.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule.
Yeah, reliably for millennia.
Yeah,
It's fascinating.
it is.
But I imagine there must be some challenges with this technology as well.
Of course, there are always challenges with new technologies.
Right.
One of the main limitations right now is the cost.
Yeah.
The cost of DNA storage is currently very high.
Yeah.
And the read and write speeds are significantly slower compared to traditional storage methods.
Right.
Additionally, integrating DNA storage with conventional computers
Yeah.
presents a complex technological challenge. So we're not quite there yet,
Right.
but the potential is definitely there.
It's definitely something to keep our eye on.
Yeah, it's a very exciting field,
For sure.
for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll continue our deep dive into molecular storage.
Sounds good.
So we've got these two really fascinating technologies,
Yeah.
each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Molecular hard drive is offering incredible speed and energy efficiency, while DNA storage boasts that unparalleled density and longevity.
Yeah.
It seems like we're really on the verge of a data storage revolution here.
Yeah, it really does. It's an exciting time to be following these developments.
So I want to kind of break it down a little bit more.
Okay.
And talk about some potential real-world applications.
Sure.
So let's start with the molecular hard drive.
Okay.
What are some of the, real-world applications where this technology could have the biggest impact?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you mentioned data centers.
Right.
These massive energy-hungry facilities that power the internet.
Yeah.
So the super low energy consumption of molecular hard drives could really drastically reduce the carbon footprint of data centers.
Wow.
So it's a more sustainable and environmentally friendly approach to managing the vast amounts of data that we generate globally.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to even fathom how much data we're creating on a daily basis.
It is.
It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Now, let's shift our attention back over to DNA storage. It's still kind of difficult to grasp the fact that, we can actually use DNA to store digital information.
I know, it's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild. So what are some applications where DNA storage could really be a game changer?
Well, I think given its incredible density and longevity, DNA storage is ideally suited for long-term archiving and data preservation.
Okay.
Think about things like historical archives, government records, scientific data, even cultural artifacts.
Yeah.
These are things that we want to preserve for generations to come, and DNA offers a way to do that reliably for millennia.
I mean, it's like storing the entire Library of Congress in a space smaller than a sugar cube.
It's mind-boggling.
It's crazy.
It is.
But wouldn't accessing that information be a major challenge?
Well, that's a good question. And you're right, DNA sequencing is still a very complex and time-consuming process.
Right.
But the technology is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
As research progresses, we can expect to see significant improvements in both the speed and the costs of reading and writing DNA data.
So it's really a matter of time before it becomes more practical.
Exactly. And in the meantime, DNA storage holds immense promise for creating a secure and lasting legacy of human knowledge and culture for future generations.
It's remarkable to think about the potential of these technologies to really reshape how we interact with information.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we kind of move forward, what are some of the key questions that we should be asking ourselves about the role of molecular storage in our society?
Well, I think one really crucial question is how to ensure equitable access to these advancements. We need to avoid creating a digital divide where only a select few benefit from these technologies.
Right.
We also need to consider the ethical implications.
Yeah, for sure.
Who owns the data stored in DNA? Who has access to it? How do we prevent misuse?
Right.
These are all questions that require careful consideration as these technologies continue to develop.
It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Exactly.
And the implications for society as a whole.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating discussion.
Yeah, it has.
I'm really excited to see where this technology goes.
Me too.
In the future.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
For sure. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into molecular storage.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to Le Podcast de Philippe. We've been on this incredible journey exploring the world of molecular storage.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
From those tiny molecular hard drives to the vast, seemingly limitless potential of DNA data storage.
It really does feel like we're on the cusp of something huge.
It does, and I think it's safe to say that both of these technologies have the potential to completely revolutionize how we store, how we access, and how we preserve information for really for as long as we want.
It's mind-boggling to think about.
And I think they offer solutions to some of the biggest challenges that we face in data management today, whether that's energy consumption, storage capacity, data security. These are all massive problems.
Yeah, for sure. And these technologies seem to offer some very real solutions.
So it really does feel like we're on the brink of a new era in data storage.
Yeah.
One that could fundamentally reshape our relationship with information in ways that we can't even imagine yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
okay,
what are some final thoughts you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I think it's crucial to remember that technology is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So as these molecular storage technologies continue to develop, I think it's really important that we stay mindful of their potential impact on society as a whole.
And we've talked about some of the potential pitfalls. The digital divide if access isn't equitable, the ethical considerations around data ownership, privacy, the potential for misuse.
Exactly. Those aren't just technical challenges. Those are societal challenges, and we need to be having those conversations now.
Right. It's not just about the bits and bytes. It's about the human impact.
Absolutely.
Well said. Well, this has been a truly fascinating discussion.
It has.
And I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring these topics, keep asking questions, engage in those thoughtful discussions about the implications of these transformative technologies, because the future of data storage, and really the future of information, is ultimately in our hands. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into molecular storage.